Hey, good afternoon, everybody. When don't we get started the meeting? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Springfield City Councilor Victor Davila. I'm calling into order at 4:07 a joint meeting between the Sustainability and Environment Committee and the Maintenance and Development Committee. We are joined today by here in person by City Council Attorney Ken Shea. Thank you for joining us, Attorney Shea. Remotely, we are joined by the chairman of the Maintenance and Development, Councilor Lavar Click Bruce. Lavar, thank you for joining us. I know you're just getting out of work. We also being joined by Madam President Tracy Whitfield. Thank you for joining us, Madam President. We are being joined by Attorney Anthony Wilson. Thank you, Attorney Wilson, for joining us. Oh, Josh, you moved to the conference room. Okay. In the Water and Sewer Department, I have Josh Schimmel. And I can't really see. Why do you guys introduce yourself over the Water and Sewer so that we can?
Sure. Hi, Theo Theocles, Director of Legal Affairs here at Springfield Water and Sewer. Good afternoon, councilors.
I'm sorry, restate your name, please.
Theo, councilor.
Theo. Got you. Thank you. And the ladies over here, I see.
Jamie Bartek, Communications Manager at the Commission.
Hi, Jenny, good to see you again. And then we are missing.
Mike Burke, Utility Operations Manager, Springfield Water and Sewer.
Thank you for joining us, Mike. And then we have Stephen Frederick on the line as well. Stephen, are you a resident or?
No, I'm the Director of Wastewater Operations with the Springfield Water and Sewer.
Okay, excellent. So the agenda for today is we're going to have a discussion of the city combined sewer overflow system, including the regulatory framework, investment to date, and water quality. I'm going to be turning the floor over to Josh in a second for a quick presentation. But there has been some concern that due to the rain, that we have the overflow and the debris that collects into the river. Ironically enough, today it's raining. I'm sure that we might have an overflow. I'm going to be asking that question in a second to Josh. But also, I think it's quite fitting to mention that I was just mentioning a little while ago to Attorney Shea that today's paper, our friends down to the south are suing the state. And so I'm going to be asking Josh at the appropriate time if you could bring us a little bit up to date on that, because I am completely in the dark other than I read on the paper. So with that being said, Josh, I turn the floor over to you. And I believe I was just told by the staff that you may have a small presentation to give us. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think, councilors, if you don't mind, I think it's probably be really helpful to give a background on combined sewer overflows.
Sure.
It's a video that we did a few years back, but it's still relevant, and it gives a good background of the history of CSOs, how they work, what they do, and things around that. So I think it's about 5.5 minutes. If we watch that, and then we can go into whatever questions and have a good dialogue. But I think it gives you a good foundation about CSOs and what they are and why we have them, etc. So, Sean,
before we get started, if you allow me, I'm sorry, Councilor Click. I'm sorry. Did you want to say an introductory statement? Is there anything you want to say before we watch the video?
Counselor, no. I think you did a good job with the introduction. I'm looking forward to the video and kind of go from there.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I would like to say something. Thank you.
Go ahead, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. So I was getting complaints about the overflow, not really understanding how it happened. So I'm glad you have a video. And I also am getting complaints about the quality of the water that's been going on for several years now. Just wanted to update on the new infrastructure. And so I did ask both Counselor Click Bruce and Counselor Davila to host this meeting, and so they did it expeditiously. So I thank both counselors for that. But looking forward to the presentation, and then once we review it, I may have further questions. So thank you all for joining us today, and explaining how all this happens.
Thank you, Madam President. Josh?
Sure. Sean, do you mind just running that video, please?
Sure, one moment.
Sean, can you go all the way back to the beginning though? There you go. There you go. Thank you. And I think we need the volume.
Runoff, domestic sewage for
All right,
treatment.
so there we go. Now
First
restart and
introduced to the United States.
there we go. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
Combined sewer systems were first introduced to the United States in 1855 before the advent of wastewater treatment plants. Combined sewers are underground pipes designed to collect stormwater runoff, domestic sewage, and industrial wastewater in a single system. Initially, these systems discharged directly into water bodies. But from the early part of the 20th century, sewage treatment plants were added to the system to clean the wastewater before discharge. Although combined sewers are an efficient means to dispose of domestic and commercial wastewater, when too much stormwater runoff is added to the flow, the result is often an overflow. To maintain control of combined sewer systems, combined sewer overflows, or CSOs, were introduced, and it is these structures that are the focus of a debate regarding the best techniques to manage growing volumes of sewage and stormwater runoff in many North American communities. In dry weather, a combined sewer system sends a community's entire volume of wastewater to a wastewater treatment plant, which treats and discharges it into a water body. Stormwater runoff from rainfall and snowmelt, however, can overload a combined sewer, and during such situations, CSO structures provide relief to combined sewers so that the mixture of sewage and stormwater doesn't back up into buildings, including homes. And instead, the resulting CSO discharges a combination of rainwater and sewage into water bodies, potentially impacting public health and the environment. In 1994, the United States Environmental Protection Agency issued the National Framework for Control of CSOs through the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Permitting Program, or NPDES. This policy mandated that communities dramatically reduce or eliminate their CSOs. The EPA began working with communities to improve their systems and reach the Clean Water Act goals. Under the NPDES program, communities with combined sewer systems must establish short and long-term CSO control plans. There are a variety of strategies to control and eliminate CSOs, including sewer separation, increased storage, conveyance, and treatment capacity. During dry weather, flow remains well below weir wall crests and is sent to treatment. During heavy rainfall or large snow melt, levels within the combined sewers increase, and if capacity at a treatment plant is simultaneously reached, flow can pass over the weir and relieve the sewer system. Without this approach to controlling sewer depth with CSO regulators, there would frequently be risk from backup on public streets, public and private property and basements, causing immediate public health concerns. Engineering solutions to reduce CSOs often look to modify CSOs by raising the overflow weirs and either adding storage within the combined sewer system or adding interceptor sewers to increase flows to the sewage treatment plant. There are currently 19 combined sewer overflow permittees in the state of Massachusetts with NPDES permits. These 19 permittees are responsible for a total of 199 CSOs discharging into 25 water bodies throughout the state. The CSOs are located mostly in older urban centers, serving a larger regional population and are in many cases over a century old. Since the NIPD's program began, permittees in the state of Massachusetts have spent billions of dollars on CSO abatement. As these municipalities have worked to reduce the incidence of overflows, it has become clear that the infrastructure required to contain CSOs increases exponentially in size and cost. Therefore, there remains a balance to be found between CSO reduction and needed investment in all other aging infrastructure, including upgrades to sewer system piping, treatment plants, and other compliance initiatives such as nutrients. Permittees are working along with the Massachusetts Coalition for Water Resources Stewardship to find this balance, while focusing on the end goal of improving water quality in CSO water bodies throughout the state. CSO reduction has been mandated at both the state and federal level, and the water quality implications of CSOs are shared by all communities, not only CSO communities. CSO abatement for water quality improvement will require a statewide, collaborative approach and cooperation among municipalities, environmental groups, the state, and the federal government. So what does the future look like for CSOs? There is a balance to be struck between CSO reduction and much-needed investment in aging infrastructure. The financial challenge to reduce and eliminate CSOs requires substantial capital investment, but municipalities cannot ignore failing water systems that provide the backbone to public health protection. The social, economic, and recreational benefits of CSO abatement will be realized regionally and statewide. However, the costs cannot be borne exclusively by the permit holders. The Coalition intends to work with all CSO communities and other stakeholders to prioritize CSO reduction and water quality improvement while allocating appropriate investment to much-needed water and wastewater infrastructure.
Okay, there you go. I remember when that video was cutting edge. It's feeling a little dated right now, but it should give you a pretty good background of historically what CSOs are and how they function. But I'm happy to answer any questions or jump right into any specific issues that you'd like to talk about.
I just have a quick question, Josh. How much water is dumped into the river, into the Connecticut River from the CSO, from the overflows?
So, all right, let me back that up a little bit. So we don't like actively dump anything. I think that's a misconception. So let me start with that. When the sewer system reaches its full capacity, meaning every possible drop of sewage and stormwater that we can treat over here at the treatment plant gets to the treatment plant and is receiving full treatment. When that happens, anything in excess of that spills out passively through outlets in the collection system, which are called combined sewer overflows. So we're not sitting there pulling a lever or pushing a button that says dump. It's when we are absolutely at our maximum capacity, they spill, and they spill so it doesn't spill out on the streets or in people's basements. So that's the first thing that folks have to understand. This isn't like a controlled active task that we do. It happens all on its own. And then how much spills, counselors, really just depends on the storm. It depends on the storm intensity and on the storm duration. And no two storms are alike. And I think over the past couple of years, what you have seen and what we have experienced and we're experiencing today is that storms are a little different than they used to be. So the system reacts a little differently. So when you have these short duration, high intensity storms, they overwhelm the system fairly quickly.
I'm sorry, Josh. I'm sorry, Josh. Sorry to interrupt you. When you excuse me, when you say storms, so you're talking about rainstorm, winter storms, or both?
Well, in most cases, it's rain events that cause combined sewer overflows. However, there are cases where we have a big snowpack in the city.
Right.
And if we have a rapid heating up, all of that snow melts and it's like a rainstorm. It goes into the system and it can overwhelm the system. But primarily, we're talking about rain events.
Okay. And so, but you must have some sort of idea how much gallons go in those cases.
Yeah, we measure that monthly. We measure that for every storm, and at every combined sewer overflow. That's measured in real time. It's reported essentially in real time on a website for whoever wants to see it. And then at the end of the month, that data is analyzed, looked at, and then officially reported out to the state. So it's hard to get accurate readings in real time. We do the best job we can, but you really have to analyze the data and there's like multi-factor authentication essentially in all of the flow monitoring.
So how much did we dump last month?
We discharged, Counselor, I can give that to you. I don't have it in front of me. Steve, if you have that in front of you, you can feel free. The other thing I think that's important to understand, right? These CSOs have been active for 100 years. This is not a new issue. These have been happening all along. They're not illegal. We are permitted to do this. We obviously don't like to do this. We do everything we can to treat as much water as we can here at the treatment plant. But the reality is in combined sewer overflow communities like ours, like Holyoke, like Chicopee, these systems get overwhelmed with storms, and that relief point in the system is really saving people's property and public health from sewage being on the streets and in your homes.
Okay, that's a good idea, Josh. Steve, if you could, please, can you send the council that data? Because I'm kind of curious as to how much has gone over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Counselor, like Josh mentioned, we share. I will be glad to do that. That's not a problem. But for anyone on the public, we have our history of CSOs on the website that's public facing.
What's the website, Steve? So that people at home knows. What's the website?
Yeah, Jimmy, it's CSO alerts.
SpringfieldAlerts.com.
CSOalert.com?
SpringfieldAlerts.com.
SpringfieldAlerts.com. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
And the other point I would like to make, Counselor, is we don't create more sewage during a CSO. There is a flow component that's very consistent of sewage during dry weather that is going to the treatment plant.
Right.
So when we have these sewer overflows, the majority component is urban drainage and drainage from roof leaders and so on. So a lot of times it gets misunderstood that we've actually dumped, 6 million gallons, 10 million gallons of sewage. That's really not that's not really what happened. But more specifically for your question, we dumped 9,436,014 gallons last month of combined sewer overflow.
All right. I have one more question, but I see Attorney Wilson has a question. Attorney Wilson, is it related to the water overflow?
Yeah, I have the actual website pulled up, so I was just gonna share so you can see what it looks like to see what the overflow information looks like on the website. If that
Sean, is that something we can share? Oh, there you go. Oh, he's one step ahead of me.
And so it also identifies the locations around the city where the overflow
Are you
is
sharing?
happening.
No, that's not me, that's them.
Okay, so
I was only asked to share the video.
That's pretty good for an attorney.
so Attorney Wilson, were you able to share yourself? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just wanted you to have a look at it because you were looking for it. So this is from the website. This is what members of the public can see, and it's by event. So this is
Anthony, can you zoom in a little bit so we can get?
I'm not that savvy.
There's a little plus sign on the left of the website.
The magnifying glass.
Right in the map picture,
It's
Anthony.
under the house.
Under the house, there you go.
Got it, President.
Not bad for a president.
Yeah, or an attorney. I mean, all of you guys. So what this shows you is the actual location of each combined sewer overflow. The colors will indicate whether it's active, has been active, or is not overflowing. And then you can click on any one of them and you will see information in real time. And then all of that data is accumulated over a month, and then we report it out.
Okay.
So, and that's public facing. Anybody can sign up for it to get alerts. So you can get alarm on your phone or email, I believe, that will tell you when they're overflowing as well.
Gotcha. Thank you again for the public. That website is going to be
Anthony,
springfield.com.
I just wanted to see if you could click on the public advisory notice link
sure.
that was on the.
Apologies, I'll go by that.
And I'll just add while Anthony is pulling that up, at every one of these locations, we have universal pictograph signs that they're not in multiple language, but they're in very understandable pictographs to stay out of the water for 48 hours, etc.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, Madam President, where did you want me to click?
When you were hovering over that red overflow, yeah, it was a link that said, if you scroll down a little bit, yeah, it says public advisory notice right there.
Can you read that, Anthony? I'm sorry, I can't see it that far.
I'll read it. Yeah, so it says avoid contact with these water bodies for 48 hours after the discharge or overflow ceases due to increased health risks for bacteria and other pollutants. See website for more information on whether specific resource areas such as bathing beaches are affected. Website, and it's the Springfield Alerts website.
Gotcha.
And it's in Spanish too. That's great.
Correct.
Yep. But and at the actual locations, counselors, their signage, which shows pictures that are easily interpreted.
Right.
And we did that because we have multi-language folks down at the river and at these places, and so we couldn't squeeze all that in 6 different languages, so we put pictographs, and it does a pretty good job. You know, one thing I think that's really, if you don't mind, I'll just speak a little bit to a couple things here that I think is really important for the council to understand here. And there's a lot. Combined sewer overflows is a pretty big topic. One thing to understand, I already said these things have been happening, these discharges, and discharges would be the most appropriate term to use, have been happening for 100 years. But also remember, at the same time, if we're discharging sewage from a combined sewer overflow, there is 10 times or more of that of stormwater being discharged from stormwater outfalls. And I think there's this is scientific fact. There is a very large misconception that the combined sewer overflows are the problem of pollution in our rivers. You could remove all of the CSO, all of the sewage that we discharge. You can remove all of that. The water is still not safe after a rainstorm because of the stormwater. The stormwater is tenfold in volume. It's not as concentrated as sewage, but it actually contains many, many other pollutants that are very harmful because it's washing over streets, fields, parking lots, roofs, and it's basically washing the entire environment into a drain and into the river. And it's 10 times or more the volume of a combined sewer overflow. So when we're talking to legislators and to regulators, we always put that in context that like the culprit here is not just combined sewer overflows. Stormwater itself is a very large culprit to the denigration of water quality in all of these receiving water bodies. And then the second thing I will say, and I think you've probably read it in the news, is that eliminating and reducing combined sewer overflows is extremely expensive work. The commission has already spent $350 million or $300 million of your money to clean these up. But as you know, we have a lot of other obligations. We have obligations on the drinking water side. We have other obligations on the wastewater side. And I think that balancing act of making sure that we are good stewards of the environment, that we're staying in regulatory compliance in all the areas that we have to or trying to, and addressing all of our infrastructure needs is quite challenging. And the combined sewer overflow issue is solely funded by Springfield and Ludlow residents.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Josh. Before I turn it over to my colleagues for questions, I just have one more question for you, Josh. Can you talk briefly about the impact that it has, these overflows into the river? I know we just say the advisory that Attorney Wilson just showed us on the website, do not swim, I believe, for 48 hours. And I have to say, Josh, I was pretty impressed to see a picture of you this morning on the paper out there in the Connecticut River, working pretty hard. So you look pretty sharp there.
I didn't see it, but
yeah, it's a good picture of you. And so, anyways, to me personally, I was a little shocked reading the article this morning, the amount of trash that goes into, it would appear to me from reading the article, into the river. That's the impression that I got, from diapers to condoms to you name it. And I saw that you guys were out there with rakes, which was a little awkward for me because why are you using a rake in the body of water? But anyways, could you speak a little bit of the environmental impact of the river, and just your general thoughts on that, please?
yeah, sure. I mean, again, I'll emphasize that there's a lot of different types of pollution in the Connecticut River, and really many rivers that are influenced by stormwater or are influenced by stormwater and combined sewer overflow. So again, what I would say is if you have a river that has no combined sewer overflows on it, but it runs through an urban area, it's very likely that the water quality isn't going to pass after a rainstorm, just so we're clear on that. Stormwater is equally as bad. The amount of debris that happens in a rain event, a lot of it can come from stormwater outfalls. A lot of it comes from combined sewer overflows. I think the things that you see that are in sewage, it's dirty business, counselors, and it's our business, and it's a very hard business. It's condoms, it's female hygiene applicators, it's garbage, it's anything it's diapers, you name it, people flush it. I think one of the biggest problems that we have are what are called non-flushable wipes. And that really, I think, is the most jarring pollutant. And what I will tell you is that there's legislation out there to control the use and labeling of non-flushable wipes. And they're becoming more and more popular, and people aren't throwing them away, they're flushing them. And when we have an overflow and there's non-flushable wipes in it, they don't disintegrate. And this is our business, so I hate to go on and on about this, but toilet paper is actually engineered to disintegrate in water. And it's engineered to disintegrate in water because of wastewater treatment plants and collection systems, because if it didn't, it would clog our pipes and clog our equipment. And so there's a whole industry around toilet paper. And that toilet paper is engineered and it comes through our systems. Our systems are designed to deal with the things that are flushed down the toilets. The non-flushable wipes that people are flushing are a complete anomaly to what we are used to, and they're becoming more and more popular. And when we have an overflow, they're not captured at our treatment plant. They go right out into the river, and they're unsightly. They don't dissolve like toilet paper, and they are heavy, and they lay there like a rag. And in sewage, there are tens and tens and tens of thousands of them that come in the gate here every minute. And that's a fact. And so if we have an overflow for 20 minutes, imagine how much of that component of all of these non-flushable wipes is going directly into the river. It never makes its way here to the treatment plant. So we're not discharging from the treatment plant here. We remove those. But when it discharges from a combined sewer overflow, it's not receiving treatment. And so that's causing probably the most visual component of what people are complaining about. There's other components of sewage that are also equally unappealing. There's grease, there's the other floatable things that we've spoken about. And you know, those things, the river really has a unbelievable way of correcting itself in a couple days. There's about anywhere between 2 and 12 million gallons a minute are going by Springfield at any given point, right? So on a day like today, it's probably 10 or 12 million gallons of fresh water a minute. So when you think in context of, we may have an overflow that discharges 10 million gallons, as Steve said. Well, in all likelihood of that 10 million gallons, there was probably 1 million gallons of untreated sewage. At the time that we were discharging that for 20 minutes, there was more than likely 40 to 60 million gallons of dilution of flow from the river itself that went by. So I know 10 million gallons sounds like a lot, but there's a tremendous amount of flow coming through the Connecticut River. And then it really does do a remarkable job of cleaning itself. And the other thing that we talked about as a group here the other day, which I think, you know, it's a double-edged sword. What's great is that we've done such a good job cleaning this river that people are using it more. And now they're complaining more when we have overflows. And we'll take that. I don't mind the criticism of spending $300 million to improve water quality, to get it to the part where people are actually using this river more than they ever have in the past 50 years. People are down there and they're using it. And so part of what we do is not perfect. It's far from it, but we do everything we can. And at the end of the day, like, you know, you guys get your bills. You know what your bill looks like. And we try to provide a lot of value in that bill. And we can't just spend all of our money cleaning up CSOs because, one, we have other responsibilities, and two, we'll break the bank.
All right. Thank you for that, Josh. Turn it over to my colleagues for any questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the video, thank you, Mr. Chair. The video said that there's a coalition, there should be a coalition working together to, I don't know, figure out how to, I guess, change the infrastructure for the CSO. Is there a coalition that work together like with our neighbors? Because when I read the article, it was like West Springfield blaming Springfield for that's how I read it. Blaming Springfield for the overflow that went into the Connecticut River. So I'm just trying to see, do you all meet with the municipalities that are combined?
Yeah, so we do a number of things, right? So for 30 years plus, it's probably more than 30 years now, there's been a partnership between Springfield, Holyoke, and Chicopee, and it used to be Ludlow because they used to have combined sewer overflows as well, and West Springfield, right? But they when those communities joined our system, they were able to eliminate their CSOs and all of their sewage comes to us. So Chicopee, Holyoke, and Springfield have been, it's called the Connecticut River Cleanup Committee. We've worked in combination with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission for 30 plus years. We've gotten tens and tens of millions of dollars to do projects. But what I'm telling you is tens and tens of millions of dollars moves the needle like this, barely. A CSO project is anywhere from 25 to $150 million. And so these are extremely expensive. Outside of Chicopee, Holyoke, and Springfield, the Mass Coalition, who we worked on producing that video, I'm the president of that organization. And it's a volunteer organization for just Massachusetts water and sewer and stormwater agencies. And so we lead the charge on all CSO communities and what we can do to get federal and increase federal and state funding, and what we can do to reduce CSOs, and who we can advocate and have them advocate on our behalf to get funding. Because the issue isn't can it be done, it's just who's paying for it. And then lastly, probably for the past 4 years, I've been chair of the New England committee, and I gave that chair up last year, but I'm still very heavily involved in the New England Water Environment Association Combined Sewer Overflow Committee, which is not just the 19 CSO communities in Massachusetts. It's the ones in Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine as well. And I've been chair of that committee. So I would say that we are very much, and then I'm involved nationally in combined sewer overflow things as well. So I would say we're very much involved in combined sewer overflows across the board. I will say nobody has done a better job in the Commonwealth than Springfield in terms of managing combined sewer overflows along with all of our other obligations, and balancing all of that so that we're not burying our customers with bills to clean up something when we have a lot of other obligations. And certainly, President, you are aware of many of our other obligations with drinking water, et cetera. And so I think the papers don't always tell the whole story. But the whole story is not a simple story to get out in one article. Understand that when we talk about the resource of the Connecticut River and its cleanliness and who's using it upstream and downstream, that's not just a Springfield issue, right? That's an issue for the entire region. And to have a single entity like the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission and our customers pay to clean the entire river doesn't seem like a fair deal. So we do our part, but we really need help financially, and not $3 and $5 million. We need $25, $50, and $100 million to make additional headway. And again, we just finished. Steve Fredericks here managed a $140 million project that we completed 2 years ago that brought our total reduction of CSOs to reduced by 52% from the time when we started this project. So we've been making great headway in this, but we have a lot of other obligations as well.
Sure. And I think the last time I was in a meeting with you all, we were talking about some infrastructure improvements in the city of Springfield, but you had to raise the funds and there was a timeline. And I just wanted to know if there was an update on that. Like, I don't know if it's the CSO plan or if it was something else, but we were talking about how old our pipes were, because I think at the time we had some pipe bursts and we were talking about how old the infrastructure is, and there was a plan to improve the infrastructure over a certain amount of years.
Yeah, I mean, counselors, I will say we take a very strategic and responsible approach to reinvestment, and we reinvest every year in our infrastructure at our treatment plant, at both our water and wastewater treatment plants, and in the city of Springfield and portions of Ludlow that we serve. So I don't specifically remember the incident, but we're in a period right now of, I would say, fairly aggressive infrastructure renewal because we were very fortunate to compete for and get a federal WIFIA, Water Innovation Finance Act loan for $250 million. We were able to leverage state SRF money for the match. So we're in a $550 million investment period, which started before COVID. That 550 is now like $750 million. Just with the past 6 years worth of inflation and all of the post-COVID impacts. So we are heavily investing right now in our communities and in the future. And what you're going to see is we have a plan. That plan is for heavy investment, meaning we know what our rates are doing, and we've kind of hit our targets for what the rates are and the amount of work we're doing. We've had a couple issues here and there, which are bound to happen. But there is a time period when we kind of get over that hump, and our treatment plants on both ends are going to be new and mostly renewed, and that our collection and distribution system on the water side, all of the worst pipe and the highest priority pipe is being replaced. So we have a very strategic and advanced approach to where and how we're investing. I think our group here has done a great job in that. So yeah, we are 100% addressing all of our issues. However, I will always tell you that it doesn't mean something's not going to blow up tonight that we can't or haven't gotten to yet, because that's the nature of our business. I think if you guys were watching the news during the July 4th week, there was a massive sewage spill in Haverhill and the Merrimack River. All of the beaches on the North Shore of Massachusetts were closed. And that could be any of us at any time, is what I can tell you. There's been a tremendous underinvestment in water and wastewater infrastructure by federal, state, and local officials. And there's a good reason for that, because nobody wants to pay for it, and it's super expensive. And so our job is to figure out how to find the money, where to find the money, how to stretch that dollar as far as we possibly can to make sure that when we deliver our services to you, that it's the most value you can get. And I think you got a committed group of people here at the Water and Sewer Commission that do that daily.
Thank you.
Is there a question, Madam President?
Yeah, are you gonna go into the H2 that's in our drinking water, Counselor?
Yes, I am actually, but if you're, I just have
No,
a quick
I was
follow.
done. I just wanted to see what we can do to leverage our leadership, because I think Josh is right with other communities are using our water and sewer plant, and they need to also invest in it, and we need to have those conversations.
Actually, Madam President, I was about just to ask Josh a follow-up question just about that. Josh, I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. Did I hear you say that the other communities, they use, or the surrounding communities that use of water and sewer, do they contribute financially to the cleanup of the river, or does that fall entirely upon you guys or us, the city?
So let me be clear about both counselors, President. So all of our wholesale users, our outlying communities on the wastewater side and the drinking water side, for that matter, they pay their fair share, right, for what they use. But they don't pay for the combined sewer overflows, because the combined sewer overflows are only in Springfield. And so, no, they don't pay for those as part of what they get billed for, because that program is a Springfield program. Now, what I can tell you is that when we look at funding sources for these large endeavors of capital investment, it shouldn't be just Springfield asking to clean up the Connecticut River, right? The resources we'll clean it up. But when the ask comes, it should be a regional ask. It should be every community that borders or is in the Pioneer Valley, if you ask me, because they all benefit from having a clean river. They all benefit economically from what happens when we have a clean river. They all benefit from an environmental and an aesthetic standpoint when they can go out and the river's clean. And so to me, that ask for money to clean it up is a regional ask. And it always has been. Remember, all of these towns didn't exist 100 years ago when we built our source system. They grew because we had the foresight. Springfield had the foresight to build facilities that were large enough to support surrounding communities that have now popped up and are fully developed or close to fully developed. But they wouldn't be there if not for Springfield, because Springfield was the center of commerce.
So, I want to make sure that I understand you correctly. This is like, I'm learning myself on this because I'm not exactly Aquaman here. But am I to understand that the surrounding communities, they don't have overflow, some of them don't have overflow systems? And if that's the case, where do the water go? Where does the overflow go?
Yeah, that's a great question, Counselor, because you're getting it, right? So if you're Long Meadow, East Long Meadow, and Agawam and West Springfield as examples, they do not have combined sewer overflows. They have stormwater outfalls. So all the stormwater hits in their community and it goes into a separate pipe, which doesn't mix with their wastewater, and it gets discharged to the river. And by the way, that stuff's pretty dirty and is contributing to the pollution. So again, I'll emphasize, we have a combined system, which is different, but you'll find the combined systems are in older communities that were there first because they had to build very large systems to accommodate everything in their community and in the communities that were starting to pop up around them. And so,
if I may, I'd like to simplify things for the people that are watching us at home. Let me tell you what I think I just understood from you, and correct me if I'm mistaken. Some surrounding communities that don't have overflow system, they discharge it right into the Connecticut River, and then the river gets contaminated. We have an overflow system, and every so often we have to discharge whatever amount of gallons of water. So we are cleaning our, I'm going to use the word contamination, plus we're cleaning their contamination as well. Is that basically what this boils down to? So they dirty the river and we clean it?
No, so the sewage from our outlying communities, rain or shine, is coming here. All right. Nothing mixes with the sewage in their community. All right. So let me put it this way. If you're on Main Street in Agawam and there's catch basins in the street, those catch basins go into a pipe that is dedicated only for stormwater. And that stormwater eventually will go to a water body and the pipe will spill it out into the water body. All right. So stormwater collects on the street, goes into catch basins, goes into a stormwater pipe, and that pipe goes directly to the river. No sewage ever enters it. But that stormwater is not great. All right. In Springfield, the water goes into catch basins on the street. The catch basins tie into a big sewer in the street. So all the rainwater goes in there, but also all the sewage goes in there as well. In a town like Agawam, they have a pipe dedicated to stormwater and a pipe dedicated to sewage. So they're separated. In Springfield, they're combined.
I see. And so my last question, so that we can move on then, about the water quality. Say I'm in Agawam and I flush the toilet. Where does that water go?
Say that again, Counselor. I missed the beginning of
Say
that.
that I'm in Agawam, you use Agawam as an example.
Yep,
And I flush the toilet. Where does that water go?
right here, Bondi's Island.
Okay,
And they pay for that.
okay.
And they pay for that.
All right, no, but my point is that I agree with you, Josh, that cleaning the river should be a regional approach. And I wish you the best of luck and let us know, like Madam President was saying, how we can leverage our leadership and how we can help because, you know, we need oxygen within the trees, but we also need the water. It's one of those elements of life. So I let us know how we can help, at least for my part, and I think Madam President, how we can help to make this happen because it's important. Go ahead.
If I could just, I'll add one thing, and then I just want to ask my team here to add anything as well, just before we switch topics.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can ask or would hope that you can embrace is that nobody here wants to be discharging sewage into a river at any point in time. Everybody here has dedicated their lives to cleaning the environment and cleaning water. And so when we read articles or we see things that people are stating in Connecticut, understand that the people of Springfield have supported and paid for hundreds of millions of dollars to work and have successfully cleaned the Connecticut River to the point where more and more people are using it. And we're not finished and we're not perfect, but we have invested time and money, your money, in cleaning up the river and have done a really good job at it. And we're not finished, but there's other things we got to tackle at the same time. And we're tackling those because when you're a water and wastewater utility, you got a lot of things on your burners, and all burners are full bore. So just, you know, I think it's just helpful to understand that your community has done a lot, is doing a lot, and isn't finished. Okay?
Thank you, Josh. Does the board have anything they want to add on the subject before we?
You guys?
Anything you
Yeah,
want to add?
Sure.
One second. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to add as well. I mean, Springfield's been very proactive in separating some of the CSOs and taking care of it and making improvements to the treatment plant, et cetera. But it's also worth it to mention that the capacity maintenance operations and management program that they have in place too, cleaning out the catch basins, has led to pretty much a between 80 and 90% reduction in sanitary sewer overflows, which is an overflow that comes out of the collection system itself into the main streets, into people's basements.
Yeah, let me reemphasize that, Mike. Really great point. If you go back to 2009, and that's the year that we started this program, we had hundreds of basement backups a year, right, into people's basements. And it was not anything that we had control of. It was just a matter of too much rain, not enough capacity in the sewer system, and it backs up. And where does it go? It goes in your basement. Hundreds and hundreds of complaints a year. We're down right now to less than 10 a year on average. And that's not because we've built all these new things. That's because we maintain the stuff that we have. And you see our crews out there on the streets in Springfield, our vac trucks, all of our crews. Those guys are working hard to keep the system clean so that not only do we reduce combined sewer overflows, we also reduce backups into streets and people's basements, and a really good point as well. Okay. So
thank you, Josh. No, so moving on to the water quality, I do remember, Josh, that we had a couple of months ago, we had a discussion over the water quality, and I know there's many layers that affect the water quality. Anyways, why don't I let maybe Madam President, you wanna just ask the question and because I think you say you have some concerns and some complaints that people are giving you.
Yeah, first what is the name? Is it H2 something that's in the, I never get that right.
HAA5, haloacetic acid.
HAA5, are the levels, like I've been hearing it for a long time, getting the letters in the mail, are the levels the same? Have they improved, over time?
They fluctuate quarter to quarter, and we have some quarters are better. It's very weather dependent, President. So it's raw water quality up at the treatment plant, and we've said this before, but I'll just say it again. We're building a new treatment plant. The treatment plant that's in place just does not have the technology to remove the organic material that gets washed in during a rainstorm, and again, the different types of rain really make a difference. And so I would say we're consistently still not in compliance. We may have some of the samples pass and some don't, but from an overall reporting standpoint, we're still in non-compliance. But we're building a new treatment plant, and that'll be online in a couple of years. And this is all going to go away. And so we ask that you bear with us. Again, that risk for the HAA5s, I know those the notices you get can be alarming. That's not our language. That's mandatory language. We have to put it in there. I would tell you that language is a little bit alarmist, but it has to go in there from the regulations. But when we talk about it in terms of internally here and in our own communications, and Jamie's probably better at talking about this, the HAA5s are not like an immediate health risk. It's a lifetime of exposure, and you guys will not have a lifetime of exposure. In a couple of years, this stuff is going to be gone, and it'll be a blip on the radar in all of our lives. Jamie, I'll let you add to it.
There's potential health risks with HAA5. The science is not settled. There's some studies that show associations and some studies that don't. But the regulations are there because of the potential, of course. But again, as Josh said, it's a lifetime of exposure for a potential health risk. And that's why there's no immediate health risk. Now, if this were like bacteria where people are really going to get sick right away, we would let people know not to drink the water. But that's why those notices for HAA5, because it's about the duration of exposure. And it's not an immediate thing. That's why we say you can continue to drink and use the water as normal while this is being resolved, which it is right now through the new treatment.
But Jamie, if I may, I just want to reemphasize that as of right now, the water in Springfield is safe to drink, correct?
You can drink the water and use it as normal. Yep.
Yep, thank you. Madam President.
That's all I had. I always call it the wrong thing, but HA5 and just wanted an update on the water treatment plant. And you said a couple years, so 2028, 2029.
Somewhere in there, Counselor. We are in construction. We just finished demolition of a large portion of the work. We still have some issues with PCBs that we found during construction. So we're waiting through that, and that's a little messy, but work is continuing, which is good. And we're dealing with what we have to deal with, which is every construction project. So this isn't anything that we're not prepared to deal with because that's what we do. So it's progressing. We'd like it to progress a little quicker, but it is progressing. We're in constant contact with EPA and Mass DEP over all of the issues around the water quality as well as the project. So, I think we're in as good of a place as we can be at the moment.
Excellent.
What's a PCB?
That's another item. It's a toxic chemical that was used in building materials from the 60s. And they found it in some of the building materials in some of the buildings that we're trying to demolish to build the new treatment plant. And so before we can finish demolishing some of the buildings out there, we have to come up with a plan to remove the PCBs and the material that they have contaminated.
Thank you. That's all I have, Counselor. Thank you, Mr.
All
Chair.
right, no problem, Madam President. Just doing a quick time check. The time is now 5 o'clock. Councilor Click Bruce, do you have any questions, any thoughts before we conclude? Probably not, okay. Very well. I don't have anything else. Anybody has any other thoughts?
I was trying to find my button here.
Oh, that's okay, Councilor
Yeah.
Click Bruce. I just
No.
wonder if you have any other questions, comments.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilor Whitfield, for bringing this to our attention. I did see it on social media as well. But mainly, I just wanted to thank the team for this presentation. Very informative. Just for sitting back learning. And my main questions were answered regarding drinking water, because that's what I did see mostly on social media floating around. So again, thank you for having this meeting and giving us a presentation. Also, Attorney Wilson, did I miss something? Are you a part of the board? What did I miss? I'm pretty sure I missed something.
Good
You
question.
haven't missing. I serve as general counsel to the Water and Sewer Commission, so I'm just here in that capacity.
Got you. I saw you last night as well. Always good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too.
Excellent, excellent. Josh, any final thoughts before we conclude?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I just want
Jamie?
to say, to anyone who might be watching this later, and I know we're not up close and personal right now, but it's really, this is your river and your wastewater treatment system and your sewer system. And we just like to remind people that there are ways that you know, this is a big problem. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of coordination, but there are things people can do at the individual level, which is not flush the wipes, not flush the trash and all the things that we see in the river and these news stories. So that's a big part of our communications outreach. When you see us at the water stations and things like that in the community, we have flyers, things like that, to remind people and educate people on the impact that their everyday product uses and things like that have on the environment. So it's just always I always try to get in a plug to remind people that there's ways that they can contribute as well, and make sure that they don't put anything that doesn't belong in the toilet, keep it out of it, and we'll all have cleaner rivers.
Are you talking about those wipes that say flushable wipes?
Yes, I'm holding a package right now that says breaks down like toilet paper. And if you could see it, I have it in water.
Oh my gosh.
Not at all.
Don't flush those, and don't waste your money on them. Use good old fashioned toilet
We
paper.
love those. Sorry, didn't know.
TMI.
They say flushable wipes. Like,
They're not.
We found the source.
oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Counselor, shame on you.
That's right. I'm throwing them away today.
So you're going to hear from us about this, because we will have a campaign to address some of these things, and we do this periodically. But I really do think that more and more people are using these flushable wipes, and they're not flushable, and they're really damaging to the environment. And then just I know we all need to go. I think everybody here works really hard, and we're always appreciative of the opportunity to share with you the work that we do and answer your questions. And we want to continue to do that. And so when you guys have questions, you always do pick the phone up and call. We don't mind meetings, especially friendly ones. But we'll take on friendly ones as well. So the opportunity to share what the good folks here are doing is really important to us, and the good work we do in providing clean water. So and you all benefit from that. So I want to thank you for the opportunity. We never turn an opportunity to meet with folks down. So
I just want to say it's my daughter's fault that we use those. She introduced them to the household. And she's right here, so I'm saying it in front of her. And I have a plumber friend that says, you're not supposed to be using those. And I said, they say flushable. And he was like, no, so they must be doing some good training with the plumbers, because he just got his plumber's license. So
President, he doesn't want to have to clean up the mess when they clog the plumbing. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
Well,
thank you for that.
Josh, you want to mention the open house stuff?
Steve, do you want, before we conclude, Steve, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, Josh, I mean, we had a great open house advertised on social media and otherwise a couple of weeks back. We had maybe 80 to 100 people show up. And we had great participation from like all across the region. So it was really like overwhelming response by folks who were interested in what we're doing down at the treatment plant, and really rewarding for us.
And we're doing it again in October, so we'll have notices out about that.
Yeah,
So
so,
we'd
excellent.
love to have city councilors come and see the work we do at the wastewater treatment plant.
Jimmy, if you send out an email to all of us, I'm sure that I will go.
Definitely. Will do.
Okay, very well. With that being said, the time is now 5:10. Thank you so much, and this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you
Bye.
for the
Bye.
information.